So there are two types of format that you can use. The first one is ideas board. This is what a typical ideas board looks like. It has the create there. You can put the name of the team, the description, and then you can change the formats. That's the first type. There's another one called Easy Retro. For Easy Retro, if you already have a login, you log in. If you don't, you can just register. But for this, we already have a login, so we're going to go ahead and log in. So it's going to ask you if you're a robot or not, and then we're going to sign in. And then it takes you to this dashboard. We're going to create a new board.
Go to the archive boards. To the right. All the way to your right. Yeah, click yes.
Hold on. Okay, cool. I have another board.
It's going to be the same thing to create another board. So you just go back to the other browser, click on yes. No, to the right, show archive boards.
Okay, sorry about that. This is my new board.
Just see if you can. Oh, this is a different board you went to.
Why is it not giving me the board? Okay, good.
No, you cannot do new board. It's just a free trial, so you can only create 3 boards. So go back to Team OBA. Exactly. Don't archive it again. No, just use it. You can't create a new board. You cannot create a new board. You have just 3 boards that you can open. So unarchive the other one and just use it. You might not be able to show them from scratch. Unarchive it. Exactly. Then go back to boards, dashboards. Like restore, go to the home page.
Oh, you're right here.
Go to the home page, Easy Retro.
Not even let me click out.
You're not going to be able to create a new board. Just click on this Team OBA and open it.
That means I can't show from the beginning.
Yes.
Okay. I can do the ideas just to show how to create on ideas and then come back and use Easy Retro that's already been created. So for ideas board, I'm going to use this board and then go back and use Easy Retro. So your team has a name. You could call it Team Avengers or Team OBA. Description will be retro, or you can spell it in full if you want, retrospective. And then it has various formats. We're gonna just do retro for today. And then when you click on retro, it gives you these 3 questions. These are the questions that you usually ask in the retro. What went well? What can we improve upon? Action items. It's gonna ask you if you're a robot or not too as well. And then I'm not a robot. And then I'll scroll down and then I'll create. So this same questions come here, which is the same thing with the easy retro.
Try to go back to easy retro. I just deleted the boards to try and run through one.
Run another one. Okay.
Finish.
Okay, cool. All right, so team OBA. And then we can create. Select template. Well, this also has different templates that you can use. We're going to use what went well. And then create. All right, nice. So it gave us 3 columns: what went well, what to improve, and then action items. I'm going to share this link on the chat so you can put in what went well during the sprint, what we need to improve, and then please leave the action item column blank for now. All right, so you can click on this link. Once you click on the link and you start typing what went well, we can view it on the board. So we're time boxed 3 minutes to actually put the answers in. What went well during the sprint and what do we need to improve? But please leave the action items blank. All right, we have 2 more minutes. We got 1 more minute, and we have at least 18 people on this call. Or no, let's say 17 because someone is at work. So what went well this sprint? What did you achieve? Especially working towards your Scrum journey. What did you achieve this past sprint? What are the things you need to improve upon?
Should we use a month since not everyone understands the sprint cadence, since we're not really working in sprints? You can say this in the month of June since we're coming to an end and we're just reflecting.
All right, we have 1 more minute to go. Did you get a job? Did you get that offer you were waiting for? Did you pass the exams, your certification exams this past month? What books do you plan to read for the next month? What certification exams do you plan to take? Have you signed up for SAFE for the month of July? All right, cool. If you haven't written yours, you could keep writing. So what went well? Usually we're going to talk about this as a team. So the person who talked about team bonds well, can you unmute yourself and just tell us how that went?
Well, I felt like the team was comfortable to communicate with each other. We had like the safety space where we could ask questions about whatever challenges we had, and everybody was willing to chip in and help.
Thank you for that. That was great. Learning Scrum and Agile. Do you mind unmuting yourself and talking about it? Learning Scrum and Agile. Do you want to talk about it? We kept to time box more. Okay, I want to believe that we keeping to time box is important to this team member. Very engaging and informative. Who wants to talk about that?
That's Balo. So pretty much I started middle of June, right? I cannot remember, but it has been very engaging in the sense that everybody chip in their advice or their experience or some of their mistakes. So, and I looked what from that, people, bringing their own perspective. Sometimes some of those things are not a right or wrong answer, but from other points of view makes it very engaging for me. And you guys are very knowledgeable as well for me, Torre, Uche, Femi, Breed, and everybody. So you guys are very, providing informative, you know, content, and that's what I think about that stuff.
Thank you, Balo. Congratulations to the person that passed the exam. And I found someone to shadow every week. Who's going to talk about that?
That was me. Yeah, I did pass the SAFE exam, as well as I have a friend that's allowing me to shadow him every week. Last week, I shadowed him through a daily stand-up. He showed me his way of conducting his daily stand-up in somebody else's way. And the other person, one of the person that he showed me, she was very nonchalant. She wasn't like you guys, how you play games with her is very energetic. And for him, he was very energetic. So he showed me two type of approach for a daily stand-up, and that was pretty interesting to me.
Nice. That was a good one. Was able to complete my resume and start applying for job. Who wants to talk about that? Who wants to talk about that? We'll come back to that. The user stories were easy to understand. Who wants to talk about that?
Okay, so the user stories we had during the sprint, they were easy. We didn't need the PO to give us, further explanations on what how he broke down the user stories. He used the invest method, and it was very easy to go by.
Thank you. Completing the sprint timely. Who wants to talk about that? Jira tutorial. Who wants to talk about that? User stories were well defined. There was no back and forth. Who wants to talk about that? I was able to interview for 4 jobs this week. Who wants to talk about that?
I'll explain on that. Yes, I was throughout various trainings and reading back on former classes, I was able to continue to understand what it means to conduct a Scrum and become a stronger Scrum Master. So essentially, it was able to get me prepared for my interviews, and I'm still growing. So and I was able to listen to those past interviews on the intranet as well.
Thank you for that. Deciding to join the IT world, who contributed that?
I did. Because this is my first time on the Zoom meeting analysis, and I signed up today. So just started my journey. I don't have much to say about it.
Good. Welcome on board. I was able to read and understand most of the topic I planned out this week with the help of the group, YouTube, and Focus. And of course, Google. Who contributed that? Okay, we're gonna go to the column of to improve. These are things we plan to improve upon based on the last month. Long meetings. Who contributed that? Understanding burn up and burn down chats. Who contributed that? Understanding estimation better. Who contributed that? I should be studying at least 4 hours a day, 2 at night and 2 in the morning. Who contributed that?
Yes, I contributed that. I feel like I can improve by just growing my my study patterns. Essentially started off, studying about an hour and a half a day, but I feel like just breaking it up and being able to do a little bit in the morning, a little bit more in the evening, I will be able to just strengthen my skill set.
Great. Changing items in the sprint backlog mid-sprint. Who contributed that? Estimates from QA should be considered. Who contributed that? Effective communication and timely. Who contributed that?
I did. For me.
All right, go ahead, Jim. Talk about it.
I did. It was meant to be in the things we did well, not things to improve. I missed that. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
My personal velocity. Who contributed that?
Me again, Balo. So after joining this team, I used to struggle a lot. So I was focusing on the destination rather than the journey. So my goal was focusing on having a six-figure job or having been a scrum master. So I struggled a lot with that. So when I started reading, from the last time we had the session, I realized every step, every day is an accomplishment for me to celebrate. So meaning that each interview that I actually went through, even if I didn't make it through, is something to celebrate for me as a personal. So my personal velocity is based on, the things I did well, things I need to improve on, and the opportunities I had for me as a person. And learning from every other person in the team as well, in the group, telling about the experience, things, the mistakes they made, or some people have not even got an interview at all. Some people have actually got a job. Those things contribute to me be more determined and to continue on this path. So pretty much my own personal velocity. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ensure I study and learn how to work my way around Jira. Whose contribution was that? Plan to enroll for my PMI ACP. Who contributed that?
I did. Sure.
Sean, you want
Yes,
to
sir.
reach to the end of time.
I want to be like you now. Femi, I want to be like you now.
Why are you looking for PMI ACP again? Don't just be bagging certificates for the sake of it, right? Why PMI ACP, if I may ask?
It was actually recommended in my office with ACSN recently this week.
So are they going to pay for it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
They will reimburse you anyway.
Okay, great. I got it like 5 years ago, so I don't know.
So you see why I want to be like you now.
I've never really used it, so that's what I'm saying. No, it's not.
You are using it already. You don't know.
No
all
knowledge
those
is
big
lost.
checks. With all those big checks, Femi,
you're using it. You're using it, no doubt.
No knowledge is lost, but
Femi is a big boy in the plane.
I feel like the time I did it and what I know now, I don't think it really contributed much. But again, maybe I'm wrong.
Femi for president. Yes, I support. I'll vote for him. Agile Scrum. Scrum.org president.
Me care. All right, good. Good luck with that. I think you have to study 60 hours of classroom before you can even register for the exam. It's kind of like, yeah, their requirements are ridiculous, but I'm sure you can navigate that.
Okay. I'll run back to you.
You're welcome anytime. Come through.
All right. Finish up my LinkedIn. Whose contribution was that?
That was mine. I'm still working on it. It's just that I need to make it more appealing to recruiters and also add more people on there. That's my only issue right now.
Okay. Point noted.
I have a
The team,
question. 1 second, sorry. Right, so define appealing. Like, what's your definition of appealing? How do you know it's not already appealing? Why do you think it's not appealing?
Because I barely have anything on there.
Oh,
So that's all right.
share your link with me later. Let me see.
All right, I need to add a picture and everything. So yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right.
the team needs to help me understand PI planning, JIRA, estimation, velocity. Whose contribution was this?
Please speak up or forever hold your peace. So we can really help you because it's key to understand PI planning and all of that. So let me know who that person is and maybe we can schedule some time together. So if you added that, just kind of speak up, let me know who you are.
Okay, so from all these action items, from all these items to improve, we're gonna pick action items that we're gonna own and we're gonna walk through for the next month. So we read out the whole list. Which ones do we have to work on? That's our action item.
So the purpose of the action item column is as a Scrum Master, obviously, when you are facilitating a retrospective with your team, typically when there's always an item or items for improvement, there has to be an implementation plan. And we document those in the action item columns, right? So for instance, if someone said long meetings, I'm not sure if the person, spoke up, whoever contributed that. An action item will be how can you make meetings shorter, right? If we have time boxes, how do we stick to those time boxes, right? How do we keep to time? Is it that our meetings need to have agendas so that we know that, we are scheduling an hour meeting, our agenda is short enough for us to complete it within an hour, right? So an action item from that improvement item would be having clear agenda for our meetings, ensuring we stick to our time box. Because if a meeting is long, it means it doesn't really have a time box. And, it just goes on and on and on. And in Agile, remember, we always should time box every meeting. Everyone who you're inviting to a meeting should understand this is the start time of the meeting and this is the end time, right? We just don't schedule meetings and it's 1 hour long and then people are still, talking 2 hours later, right? People get burned out, people get tired of meetings, and then that's how they start bringing up, these issues in retrospective, and it helps the team improve, right? So that way you guys will know where your weakest link is and create action items. So in future, someone will own this action item. And, if it's a Scrum Master, ensuring that if your meeting is running beyond that hour or is approaching the top of the hour, then you're making people aware that, guys, we have 10 minutes left. As a Scrum Master, you announce that so that people are wrapping up, right? We're getting to the tail end of the purpose of that meeting. So that's a very great way to, capture an action item from an improvement item.
So I added one for Risa. She wants her LinkedIn page updated. That's an action item that can be owned.
No. So it's not just an action item, right? Because she needs to mention date. She used to give herself that time box, like just send out with my LinkedIn page. It can take you 5 years to do that. So she needs to set a date, like an ETA, and Risa, you will say, okay, by the end of July 5th weekend or July 12th weekend, I want to get I want her to speak up, right? We're not going to help her with action item.
I'm just
right?
doing an example.
Yeah, and then, another action item is you're supposed to send me the LinkedIn URL so that I can even review, because it might be appealing, and then in your mind, you're thinking it's not appealing enough. And it's raining here and there's thunderstorms here right now. I think Balo has his hand up, but yeah, Raisa, do you have a dates that you
Yeah.
have here for that so we can put that on the board?
I have it done about Monday, so July 4th.
July 4th. Okay, that's Sunday. Oh, that's a holiday, man.
Monday. July 5th, Monday, yes.
Awesome. I think Balo had his hand up, so yeah. Balo, go ahead.
Yes, Javier, I do. So just to go out of this context, so let's say we're doing a retro and we want to like give kudos or happiness, you know, how do we do that? Like, how do we measure that on a retro based on using easy retro? If that makes some sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. What I do with my organization is I can add another column to this. This is like the general one, but I can always add another column and put kudos there. So the team will actually just put kudos to a team member that they want to. That's one way. Another way that you could do it is once you're done with your action items, you can actually have that. So you could talk about it and say, hey guys, let's give kudos to our team members. And you as the Scrum Master would start with the kudos. Or you can do it in this, whichever format. It could be on the board or you could talk about it. But once you talk about it, you have to take the initiative and start it. So for example, I could say, I'm giving kudos to all the team members. Or I can specify and say, I'm giving kudos to Seung for doing an amazing job, helping the team, supporting the team, and helping us with this particular situation that he was able to handle. And then I started it, and then I could pass it to the next person and say, who's next? Somebody else will grab it and say, oh, I'm giving kudos to this person on the team for helping me deliver X, Y, Z. That way, I always have an additional kudos column on my board or on the board. That's
Thank
how
you so
I
much. Yeah, thank you so much. You really answered my question. Thank you.
And I love what Uche said. So yeah, that's another way is to pass the popcorn ball and just pass it around. So that way people are self-organized. You're not calling out names. Thanks, Uche.
Thank you. Welcome.
I think for me, you need to hit the blue check box.
Sorry.
Save it and then move it to the action item column. Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, sorry. Can you explain passing the popcorn ball? Sorry, I don't understand it.
Oh yeah, Uche.
Uche, please.
I was talking on mute as usual. So with the retro, what I do, because like some of these people's names, I can't even pronounce it. So I just said, instead of calling names, I'll say, okay, we're assuming that we're sanitizing our hands. So when I say, well, kudos to blah, 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 I'll pass the popcorn bowl to Coach Femi. And then I'll explain to them how they passed you the popcorn bowl. So when you're done talking, you should remember to pass it on to everyone in the room until the last person speaks. So it's just like passing the mic, but I just try to make it fun. Like when you're in the movie theater, right? You share popcorn with your lover or whatever.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, so your action items, you could pick 3 action items that you guys want to work on for the next month, and someone has to be accountable for it. Like the first one is the LinkedIn for Risa. Risa has to be accountable for this, and she has to keep to the timeline that she has set. Having a clear agenda. As a Scrum Master, this is a part that you could take part on. If the team has already complained to you that they have long meetings, you can start with agenda for the meeting and ensure that they're keeping to the time box. So this action item is for you as a Scrum Master. And then we can pick another line item. Who's going to go next? So Brit, I noticed that you talked about studying for at least 4 hours a day. When are you starting with this study? You have to put a timeline to it.
I will start, well, I've already started, but I will get on a more strict schedule right after the holidays. So I would say July 5th.
That's Monday.
July 6th. No, I'll say July 5th. I don't have nothing to do July 5th. The stronger, the better.
Okay, so we're gonna put a timeline to yours too. Um, 5th of July. That's great. So these are actions. These are the items that we're going to be accountable for next sprint. And then after this, we do the kudos. After the kudos, there's always time for feedback. How did your retro go? Did you get value from this retro? We'll talk about it as a team. They'll tell you what it is. And then how do you want, is there anything you want your facilitator to change? Or anything else you want your facilitator to add? The team will talk about it as well, which is your own feedback as the Scrum Master.
Victoria has a hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, hi everyone. So my question is just, do you use this, for me, do you use this board in your organization? Because I'm just thinking that how are you going to get this off the internet, because sometimes we have some restrictions, or you could just use an Excel and use this column headers.
Okay, so you could ask your team. They might have one that they're using. I'll use mine as an example. We used to use Link Coffee when I got there. I didn't like it, and I changed it to the Ideas board. So I use Ideas board a lot.
Okay, so you got this off the internet, right?
Yes,
the
and
Idea
it's free.
board.
Yeah, it's free.
Okay, because the current one you're using, the retro, you have to pay for it, right? You're using the free trial now, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But Ideas board is free. You don't even have to sign in. And the good thing, one thing I like about it is you can extract once you're done to PDF or Excel, and you can save the file.
Why are you saying Ideas board? Busy Retro is much better because you can export to Confluence. I like the fact that, of course, it's free for only 3 boards. So, I mean, if you have 1 or 2 teams, you're going to have one permanent board, and then you archive it and delete it and then create a new one. So you don't really need to pay for the full version. You can continue to use the free trial or the free version, right? But I love the fact that you can export this to Confluence. Also, if your organization uses Confluence, there's also a retrospective board in Confluence, so you can of course customize it to the lanes, the columns, what went well, what didn't go well, or whatever you want. The various retrospective techniques. Sometimes in the future we're going to have a broader session on retrospectives and show you different types of and techniques of how to conduct a retrospective, right? But it's this Easy Retro. You can share the link before the retrospective so your team contribute like the way we did today. The only problem is we did this on the call, which you need people to gather their thoughts, right? And you need to give them enough time. So typically as a Scrum Master, what you need to do is create that link and share it with your team maybe a day before or the morning of the retrospective so that there's enough time for them to add these contributions, right? And that way you guys would now on the retrospective call go through everything line by line, right? And then you start having conversations, and those conversations spur ideas and thoughts and ways to improve and ways to do better. And then people start speaking up, and because there's some people that added contributions to them, they didn't say anything because maybe they're not comfortable, and this will happen. So as a Scrum Master, if you guys want to be Scrum Masters, I advise you always speak up, because when you become a Scrum Master, I said it again, your team will show you, Pepe.
Yes.
Your team, you feel so horrible when you're facilitating and nobody's speaking up, right? Maybe the few Scrum Masters here who have conducted retrospectives can, say something about it. But, it's great for us to always try and, contribute and say something. There's nothing like a stupid question in Agile, right? If you add a contribution, just be able to like back it up, have one word to say at least about what you contribute, and always try and contribute something, because someone somewhere is learning. you might think it's stupid, but no, someone somewhere is learning something, right? So I always, implore you guys, because we want to be Scrum Masters, we want to be Agile leaders, and you don't want to feel. I mean, sometimes when I facilitate retrospective on my team, I just want it to end. But the way to conduct great retrospectives is by having, before, like we did today, having like a trivia. Sometimes you just tell people to talk about, one thing that went well at home, or something that didn't go so well at home. You just have that break the ice right before the main contribution and before you go through these columns one by one, right? So it's always good to add something to the board. That's why it was anonymous before, and she reviewed it. So Fumi reviewed it after everyone had contributed. So we don't see what everyone is saying initially. And on the main retrospective call, you review those cards. We call these cards as well. And that way we can start talking about it. And any item we need to improve again, we create action items from that, right? So someone like Sean now, you say you want to plan to enroll for PMI ACP now. So Sean, what's your action item, right? You talked about what you want to do, but if you don't give yourself a time box or, the timeline of when you want to get this started, it's just going to be all talk. And, one thing about action item is the next retrospective we have to come back to this action item. And I would kind of look through the first item and say, oh, hey, Raisa, were you able to get your LinkedIn page updated? Hey, Brit, were you able to, dedicate those 4 hours of study every day? Every new retrospective, you started by reviewing what you guys had from the last retrospective, your last action items, right? So if you're talking about having clear agenda for the meetings, the next retrospective, the Scrum Master is supposed to ask your team, okay, how are we when it comes to meetings? Are they still very long? If they're still very long, then something is wrong. Then what do we need to do better? Things of that nature. Mutia, I think you raised your hand. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you should be able to use this Easy Retro. Just create an account for free. If your organization doesn't block any of this, Easy Retro is not bad. Ideas Board is not bad. Now just Google various retrospective tools out there.
Thank you.
Hey, Mutia. Mutia, I see you're muted, but we can't hear you. You're trying to say something.
Yeah, I said I just finished off work.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how we got here. I was trying to go to the chat or whatever. I don't know how I can get here or contribute
the video will be on the portal, so you can follow, you can rewatch it. And in the subsequent weekend classes, we can revisit some of this and do another live session, right? Okay. All right, from back to you.
So this is what a retro looks like. You can change it to whatever you want. As you grow and you get to know your team members, you know what they like and what you can work on. So you can always change it. You don't necessarily have to use the what went well, what to improve. You can always change it to different things. And there's so many types of retro out there. There are retro for seasons. There are retro for people, movies. Like I've done Fast and Furious retro before. There's so many things you can do to spice up your retro. But that's when you get to a better stage that you're comfortable with your team. You can always work around it. But this is meant to be interesting. It's meant to be a safe environment for your team members to talk and tell you things that they feel that we can do better. And remember that as Scrum Masters, we are process changers. We are mindset changes. We're helping the company or the organization make the process better. So the team will tell you what they think they need to work on. I'll give you an example. One thing that my team wants us to work on is we have people constraint. What does that mean? So when the developers work and they're done with their coding, they need to have the codes reviewed. So there's a column on our board that says review section. The cards stay there for a while because the people who are supposed to review them are so busy, it takes time for them to be able to review it. The developers know what is going on, they understand, but that is still a constraint. So what do I do as a Scrum Master? I'm going to talk to those people, and then I'm also going to speak to the managers, to the manager of the development team, to ensure that we know that, yes, things are going on, but this delay is not good for my team. Because developers are not happy with what is going on. How can they do the work and they're being delayed because of people? So that's one thing that they will talk about. And they talked about it at the retro. So that's an action item that I need to follow up with as a Scrum Master. That's a live example. So there'll be different things that they will talk about that you need to work on, and they also need to be accountable for. And this is why we do retrospective.
All right, Tara, did you raise your hand again, or was the last one?